So I'm back from the Fallout 76 event, and what do I find? Well, Fallout 4 got another update. If you're on PC, it's about 80 megabytes. If you're on Xbox One or PS4, it was roughly 1.5 gigabytes. This is going to be another one of those Creation Club focused updates. I do have a full video coming that actually looks in detail and reviews all of the new additions. In particular, you can actually see some of the teased images of the XO2 suit. This is going to include the power armor itself, a pretty cool story, and I want to do a really in-depth comparison of this paid version, comparing it to the, of course, free version that we got a few years ago. I've actually already played through this one, and you'll probably see more of that in a video tomorrow, but the quest is very interesting. Although outside of this, we actually also have the She armor and weapon skins. This is particularly interesting because I imagine a lot of people that are fans of the modern Fallout games aren't too familiar with the She. They're more or less a San Francisco-based faction that did appear in Fallout 2. As their name suggests, they were a Chinese submarine, and following the Great War, they were beached in the Bay Area. They created a base in what was the former Chinatown of San Francisco, and more or less used the mainframe from their submarine to create the Emperor. And all around, they actually have a very interesting history, and up until now, there hasn't been a ton around them in the Bethesda Fallout games. Despite all that backstory, all we actually got in Fallout 4, some armor and weapon paint jobs. They look pretty good. They're definitely going to be a particular style, but I actually think it's particularly interesting that Bethesda is using this lore that was established by Interplay, not them themselves. Getting festive, Bethesda also released their Halloween armor and weapon skins. These actually look particularly cool. I'm excited to try these out and show them off to you. And then finally, they released the camouflage armor and weapon skins. This is actually a pack including some previously released camouflage armor and weapon skins, but actually a few new ones also. It looks particularly cool, or at the very least some of them do, but it seems like this round of releases is particularly heavy in the armor and paint job category, and well, you could really only use a couple of these at a given time, so I imagine one of these are going to get shunned. For PC, if you haven't played Fallout 4 in a few days, you'll probably find that some of your mods, as well as Fallout 4 script extender was broken. Fortunately, many updates for these mods and script extender have been released. And of course, for Xbox and PS4 users, if you do still have the game installed, you might be 1.5 gigabytes less on hard drive space. But now for what I think is the most interesting part of these updates, we actually got an update to the Fallout 4.ccc file. If you haven't watched one of these previous videos, basically this holds the file names for all the additions in Fallout 4's Creation Club, and oftentimes when they do this update, we'll get the file names for things coming in the future. Well, this time we got two, and they both seem particularly interesting. The first one is going to be simply titled Disintegrate, but interestingly enough, this is actually made by a mod author or somebody kind of inducted into Creation Club. The past few releases in particular that we've seen from mod authors have been particularly high quality, definitely some of the best content we've gotten from Creation Club thus far. Disintegrate is super ominous. I don't know if that's going to correspond to a weapon that actually disintegrates other people, or maybe even something more along the lines of cross crits, which is actually a mod for Fallout 4 right now. Basically with that mod, when you critical hit somebody, instead of them just turning into that traditional pile of ash, now instead it's going to be something a little bit different and more unique. Could it be something along those lines? That might be a little bit outside the scope of Creation Club, but it would be pretty cool. So I don't really know. I'd actually love to know in the comments down below, what do you guys speculate this Disintegrate is corresponding to? But then in addition, we have one that is going to be done by Bethesda Game Studios themselves, that with the Heavy Flamer. So I think this actually has a few possibilities. Oftentimes mods done by Bethesda Game Studios themselves will either be fairly simple or a recreation of something from another Bethesda game. What this could be is the flamer that we kind of saw in Fallout 3. That one's more akin to a real life flamethrower where you actually have the backpack and then the nozzle, where in Fallout 4 everything's contained in one system. I would definitely say that's possible, but there's nothing to really indicate the heavy aspect. The flamer then and the flamer now are both considered heavy weapons. The flamer in Fallout 4 often regarded as the worst heavy weapon in the game, but on the other hand, in many of these games we've also had an incinerator. Incinerators are different than flamers in the sense that incinerators actually shoot a projectile, like a little ball of flame at someone. In the Broken Steel DLC for Fallout 3, we actually got the Heavy Incinerator. This is particularly similar to the incinerator you got in Fallout New Vegas, and I wouldn't be shocked if Bethesda just used the Flamer title for their internal naming. There's a lot of times where the file names of some of these Creation Club releases don't exactly match what the thing is, but is more of a rough outline. That one definitely could be particularly cool in either of these possibilities, either adding in the heavy incinerator or maybe the old school Fallout flamethrower. Either way, that's pretty much everything that was changed, added, or ruined with this update for Fallout 4. If you guys did enjoy this video, you can leave a like or subscribe. But also, I have a question for all of you that I would love to get an answer to in the comments. As many of you guys do know, I just came from this Fallout 76 event. I know though I can't actually share any of the gameplay or even really my impressions of Fallout 76. There's a lot more to the event than just that. It was at the Greenbrier, and more or less I'm wondering if you guys actually want just general or overall impressions of the event, not the Fallout 76 part. The Fallout 76 gameplay in its entirety is coming out on Monday, but maybe tomorrow or the day after, I could use some of the footage I recorded of other things at the event and share that with all of you. Again, I'm not entirely sure as to whether or not I want to do this, if there's even going to be interest in hearing about the event while not talking about the game, but I just figure I'll ask and you can let me know in the comments. As always again though, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you found this video informative. Again, a full review on all of this is coming soon, as well as me actually looking at the Skyrim update, and included in that all of the new Creation Club releases also on the way. With all that being said, I do hope to see you guys all next time. Later.